Hello and welcome to We Play Game, the tabletop role-playing podcast where we look at tabletop role-playing games from every side of the table. I am Jess, and today I was our rules lawyer and our judge.
Hi, I'm Emma. Today I was Henri and his brother Kurt.
Hi everybody, I'm Anish, and I played a lot of characters this game, but T-Man was the one that made it.
Hello, I'm Nick, and I played Tim.
Yay!
Hey
Excellent.
Nick!
Once again, as we've said on the previous episodes, thank you so much to Nick for joining us.
5 weeks in a row?
Yeah. Yeah, you guys have gotten a good dose of vitamin Nick over the past couple weeks.
Yay!
Yeah.
And this is the end. I'm dying after this.
Yes,
Aw.
we're letting him go.
No, Nick will still be alive and will still be supporting us on Patreon for the foreseeable future.
Please.
Please.
The game we've just played was Dungeon Crawl Classics. We've played through a funnel of it, and then we've played a brief first level adventure. So if you haven't listened to those, please go back and listen to them. Unless you just want to hear us talk about the game without the context of the actual gameplay, which is totally chill. That's what we encourage if you are more into that. So welcome to our game discussion episode. Jumping right into it, are there burning thoughts people want to throw out there?
I mean, if listeners couldn't already tell by the way these episodes are titled, most likely, the game flow, starting with the funnel, is definitely a unique experience. Nothing like I've ever played before. And I think it sets up the tone very well in terms of like the world doesn't care about you. You are weak. And I don't remember the exact wording, but like if your character survives, it should be a notable thing. That
Right.
in itself is a success.
Which that reminds me of what I thought of after the funnel. I had this thought of the framing around character survival and like leveling up. It was not to my taste of how high lethality games, like I like high lethality games. I think they're really, really fun, but I like it when it feels like I don't know. There was a phrasing that was like, if you reach level 5, you should be so proud of yourself. And I'm like,
Mhm.
no, I'm throwing my characters into danger all the time. I want them to die. Like,
Yeah.
the game is designed for, like, I want to engage with that mechanic. I'm not, like, trying to be precious with it. So I thought that was an interesting, like, setup that I chose to ignore for my own sanity.
I think fundamentally a game like this is a little bit at odds with our play style because we are so much like role play heavy, like we lean into that. And I'm not saying this doesn't encourage role play, like because it's a role playing game, so like inherently it does, but it does focus on the mechanics in a way that like y'all were already running away with the whole polycule thing, and like that was fun and all, but like I was like
Sort of took over.
like it turns it into one of those like silly kinds of games. Not that I'm saying we should have been completely serious, but like the tone of it, I think, kind of has some friction sometimes with what the system expects out of it.
What do you think the system expects, though, from that? Like, do you think it's supposed to be, like, gritty? Because it feels to me like
I think
leans into the silly, but I could be wrong.
I don't know if it necessarily leans into the silly. I think it leans into like the image of like we are taking this seriously. Combat above anything else. This is gritty. This is hard. And I think the hidden undertone with anything that is going that hard is that you see what fucking mess you can make of it. You know, like D&D players can be trusted to make anything about dicks and balls.
I think that it's gonna be not serious to a degree, like anyway.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about like the kinds of players it attracts, and it's going to be more about numbers kinds of. I do think that this game is like has a bunch of measures in it to combat metagaming and min-maxing so that you can do it better, like in a way that's like more organic, I guess, if that makes sense.
To use the like D&D term that people say, like it seems to me that the setup of this game encourages the like murder hobo stereotype. And that
Yes.
is like a silly way to engage. It's like we're not taking it
Yeah.
grounded.
Right. It's not like, that's the thing, is that you're not really like concentrating on the narrative as much in that anyway. Because like the narrative, when you think about a narrative like that, is pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
So like it does become more comical.
Yeah, it's very brain off. I think the way they're describing it, like all the monsters you're killing, they're monsters.
Yeah.
Don't think about it. And I think there's a certain kind of I don't know if it's freedom that comes with that, but like choosing just not to engage with the premise opens you up to a sort of like very, at least for me, it was very detached in terms of like my
Mhm.
character, what I was doing. It was I moved forward with the assumption that I could die at any second.
Yeah. More playing with the other players at the tables than
Yeah.
interacting with each other as characters.
Exactly.
I was curious, Nick, what can you give a run? Because I've played Dungeons and Dragons with you, but you've played other systems, I know, and I don't know which ones. Is it just Pathfinder? Like, how did this
I've done
compare to your
Pathfinder,
other?
Blades in the Dark, and stuff
Cool.
like that. But
Like,
yeah.
how did it compare to your other experiences with TTRPGs?
I guess coming mostly from a non-podcasting environment, I feel
Mhm.
like y'all definitely have to inject more of that personality and kind of role playing, even though the system doesn't really lend itself to that.
Mm.
Because when I was recruited for this arc specifically, it was under the premise of like, hey, this is a lot of numbers and dense
Is it
rules, and like
fancy? Yeah.
it's not as fun of a game, so that's why you would be good at this. Which I love, to be clear, and because to me it reads kind of like it's more of a strategy game than a role playing game, and so by nature of having a podcast, obviously you have to be entertaining and kind of make the jokes because nobody wants to listen to you play Stratego or whatever, like whatever,
Maybe
right?
they do.
Yeah.
So I think that while I still think it would have been fun without the role playing that we were doing, it's just a different type of event.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I guess I had kind of mentioned it. I don't remember if it was whatever after we finished the funnel, but I had kind of gone on to read the module for the funnel, and a lot of the different, whatever, it's kind of cheating, I guess, but it was after the fact. It doesn't really matter. But it was just like a lot of the rooms that we encountered and the things we encountered, there were like, it was more like puzzles, and like they would have had longer lasting ramifications that would have made the rest of it easier. But you're kind of like bullshitting your way through it, and it's like, oh, actually, if you like, I think Emma had like opened a door to like the burial room, immediately slams the door, doesn't engage with it, which is good for role playing. But for this module specifically, it's like in that room there were like the grave sites of the generals, and you can crush their
Whoa.
skulls and then not fight the army downstairs.
Yeah.
Oh my
Whoa.
god.
So it's like if you choose
But
to
it's just
engage,
so scary, spooky.
well, sure, but it's scary, spooky because you're coming from the D&D or other kind of modules or like games where there is more stuff like that, rather than like, oh, this is just path one. You have to follow path one until you actually hit the obstacle, not like the perceived obstacle.
It's almost like a video game. Like, if the developers are making a path, like it's probably got something there
Yeah.
at the end of it. So I did not engage with this module like that in the slightest. I
Yeah.
was just trying to die.
We did when we did the stars. For sure. Like recognizing that the stars and I think that goes into, and I'd be curious to hear your thoughts on it, Jess. Modules are like sometimes really hard to run the way that they're supposed to run. Like you kind of have to bring your own shit to it. Cause like, I think once we got into that room, you especially were like, you notice. Like, we didn't have to look for it. You were like, you notice this. It matches. And then we were able to, like, engage with the puzzly aspect of it that way.
Yeah, I was actually talking about this to some people because, like, the day that we had that session, I went to like a party for a TTRPG publishing company up here, and I started talking about how I was running that module, and everyone else there was like, "Oh my god, yeah, we ran that module like several months ago," and so we were just talking about the module itself and like how we felt about it, and the fundamental issue with a module is just that you're translating someone else's vision into your own head, and then you're taking through that filter, then translating it to other people, which it's already one skill to get one thing in your head into someone else's head just by like communicating the world, communicating the environment. But when you're like still formulating exactly what that is, especially the way that I read modules, and you know, like we all know that I kind of have like a rules lawyers, the whole premise of the rules lawyers, that I try to be like kind of literal about it sometimes, and I get very like obsessive about the like details of it. And so when I do read a module, I do feel a compulsion to like, I just use the words obsessive and compulsion, even though it's trying to avoid the specific thing. But
you do feel an urge.
I feel an urge to translate an exact experience that I feel like they're trying to convey, but really there is no way to do that literally, because like the best person to run a module is the person who wrote the module, right? Because they know exactly what it is. So once you've already taken that step, you have to kind of accept that a module has changed. A module has become modulated. Like it's become Jess's vision for what this module is, Jess's version of this. And so for me, the problem is I get so hung up on the details that like I want to translate their thing, because I'm like, that they wrote it down, so it must be good. But like, you can't always do that. And so what was the question? I feel like there was a more specific question just about like the experience of
experience running modules.
Because like, and also what I'll say in this specific case was I was kind of reading and internalizing, like I had read it, but like I don't think I had internalized it quite as well as I wanted to until that moment where I was reading it to you guys. So like there was a level of I'm figuring this out literally as you guys are too. So it was like a very strange process. But if I had come up with it myself, I think it might have just like been, I think maybe the room would have been communicated to you differently, because that's the thing, is that like the important things about that room were like the big pool room were the crystals, right? In the that you could pull up. And I don't think that really clicked in my brain until you had already interfaced with the room enough. And so like it feels like how do I communicate that this detail is like the thing you should be focusing on when like we're already in the room, right? But then I mean there's also solutions for that. You can be like, oh, you feel drawn toward this. Like there's language for it that you can use for general DMs. But modules are tough.
And this might be the kind of rules lawyer thing. Like, I feel like when it comes to just straight dungeon crawl, you don't want to be like, here's the answer to the puzzle.
Yeah.
But then, like, there's so much stuff. You're gonna miss some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Unless you do a, like, what's it called? What's it called in video games?
Completionist, like
completionist, 100%ing.
Yeah.
And that is, I don't know. I think that's how some people really like to play.
Internally, when you open that door and then shut it, I was like, come on, like you gotta go in there. But I was like, I'm gonna be true to your role-playing experience. If that is what you would do, then yeah.
Yeah. And I liked that we had the opportunity to go back.
Like return to previous rooms?
Yeah, like I think that helps those moments of like, and I'm not, if it was something that was key, which it wasn't, but if it's something that it's key to moving forward, then once you're in the second situation, you can be like, oh, the layout is similar to that room you saw before, to like make people go back.
That's also, I think, a key part of this game that I was also trying to sort of highlight in this session was like, this game is both about the way you engage with that environment as in combat or like in whatever sort of scenario, but also it's about the battles you run from, you know, like very much you have to like it's a like there are it is very number heavy and about like solving things, but there are alternative solutions. For example, crushing the skulls in that first one, which you guys did not do, but like the real, when you got to that room and there were fucking 70 statues on the ground, you know that there is no way to beat this. Nope. So you have to go find an alternate route. So for like the entire vine floor of that forest, like that thing, the amount of hit points that thing had, y'all were not going to do anything to it. You were going to be dead. Cool. So honestly, it's awesome. Great what y'all did. Like I don't even remember what you did. You like,
we got lucky with a critical hit that made it stop smelling.
Right. And so what I like, obviously it's a role playing game, so like there's a lot of solutions to different things, but like kind of the direction that I was hoping you guys would realize after like hacking away at this thing was like you just got to run, like you
Yeah.
just got to like run as far as you can from this, and it would have stopped eventually.
What would you have done if we just abandoned the mission?
I
we
was-
almost did.
I was ready to accept that. You guys were like, we want to be a polycule and leave, and I was like, here's the problem. Here's the thing about this game, and this kind of goes into what we were talking about earlier. It assumes and kind of encourages that basically your character's intrinsic motivation, no matter like who you are, is for like wealth, right?
Yeah.
Like you're trying to go and do this in a video game way. You're trying to explore the dungeon. You're trying to like kill the monsters. You're trying to get the XP, and you're trying to get treasure. So like if you guys are engaging with it in a way where that's not your character's motivation, 100% you should abandon.
I think if I were to revisit this game in like earnest with that intent in mind, I think it'd just be a lot more strategy than anything else, and that in itself is a kind of play style, I suppose. But it's the characters are less characters and more like, I don't know.
Pawns.
Yeah, exactly.
I also think, like, I think the role play aspect of that is when you are selfish, motivated characters for wealth, there does come a, like, it wasn't that we stopped wanting the wealth. It was like, is this worth it? We're probably going to die. And then we had to move forward with a thing that made sense to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder, do you think that the funnel backstory function is congruent with that? Like, do you think that lines up in the way that, like, this is such an interesting, extensive backstory system for a game that doesn't feel like is very focused on role playing and having backstory. So, like, the whole point is to give your character this, like, kind of, fucked up, traumatized backstory. But maybe that is just to create, like, a fucked up guy rather than, like,
a fucked up selfish guy.
Like a fucked up story. Right. So like, I don't know that it I think the funnel thing is interesting. I just don't really know what purpose it serves outside of being a little bit edgy. What do you guys think?
I think it does serve a purpose, personally.
It feels like sunk cost fallacy to me, of like just ingraining that fallacy in your characters. Of like, I watched 8 people die in front of me to get this rod. I gotta see it through.
Yeah,
exactly. It makes you feel like more mortal too, just in general, with like your characters are soft. Even after you hit level 1, you still only have 5 to 10 hit points, and you're not really strong even then.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of danger in the funnel, and the danger kind of carries on into the resource management of like the main campaigns.
And I think the juxtaposition of you being weak and then you getting like cool abilities was really nice. Like, I know, like, I'm fully with you, Emma, in terms of like the fun is also in like throwing yourself into danger, even if you die an early death, which I desperately wanted.
Clearly, yeah.
Clearly. But I will say that when I got spells, oh boy, the spellcasting in this game is wickedly fun.
I like the spellcasting a lot.
I really like the spellcasting because you're pretty much upping the stakes progressively. And as somebody that wants consequences dearly, that is like a win-win situation.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you're a spellcaster, the one thing you want to keep doing is casting cool spells. And the game lets you do that with consequences, which I think is awesome. At least for clerics, that's how that works. I'm not sure.
I think it's well, I'm not actually sure how it works for wizards. It's probably an entirely
there's a lot to
system.
Yeah, but I thought I think they did put a lot of thought in terms of the fun of playing different classes.
Right.
I think it's pretty reminiscent of D&D, but cleric to me really stood out in terms of all that.
Yeah, and I think spell slots have always kind of felt a little bit antithetical to the feeling of the game sometimes in like D&D, because it's actually ironic to me because it does kind of make more mechanical something that this game I think succeeds in making not feel mechanical.
Mm,
There's nothing worse, I think, than when you have literally exhausted all of your resources in like
yep.
a D&D combat. Like it sucks when it's
Yeah.
like if you're a wizard and then it's like I guess I'll stab with my knife that I also carry. So I like the like you're hurting yourself but you can keep doing magic. Like I know there's a lot of homebrew rules around that people will use.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite fun.
Kind of styled similarly to this.
The thing that is also the case, though, is I didn't get to like choose necessarily to be a cleric, but I had some influence in the funnel.
Right.
Like if I was rolling 3 characters, like the cool thing about the funnel is that you can kind of pick and choose who lives and who dies.
Yeah, you can,
based on what
and
you want to play.
you're encouraged to be strategic about who you throw at certain doors, but there were like kind of random things that were out of people's control
Yeah.
in our funnel that I think we were all pretty certain of who people wanted to be the well, okay, maybe I'm just thinking of I think Fox was kind of the favorite
Aw.
and then
Aw.
did not make it.
We all wanted to see Fox.
Yeah, we got
yeah.
Tim.
I wanted to see any of my people survive, actually, but
Yeah, you got a
I don't-
totally new guy.
but whatever. I think we made it work with Tim.
Yeah,
I liked Tim.
Tim was
was great.
inspired.
I liked the thief character.
The thief did
The thief-
damage.
Thief is cool. It's kind of like a shitty rogue, but with better attacks. It feels like, or like more variance with the attacks instead of just
Mhm.
like I do a lot of damage. It's like no, okay, you do fun damage, or you do like the extra attack instead, or whatever. So it's like
Yeah, I like the crit table a lot.
yeah, it's kind of a cool X factor.
That's another thing that's got me excited to play Cyberpunk is Cyberpunk has like a crit table for everything, and it's like here's exactly how their head explodes and stuff like that.
I've noticed that with crit tables and because Mothership has crit tables or
Right.
something, right? Yes. Of like there is something funny when you're fighting literally anything that's not a humanoid. You know, because we ran into that with Mothership. It was like a gunshot wound. It's like no one has a gun right now.
Yeah.
Like no one's holding a gun. Where's the gun coming from? And then it's like you break their nose, and it's like this is a plant.
You kind of have to translate it, like
Yeah.
the ribs. And I was playing a Cyberpunk game once, and like they rolled on the table that like the character they were playing, their hands got blown off, and it was like not an attack that would at all blow off your hands in any way. So I had to like justify that, like, I guess
your hands are gone.
your
now.
hands just fall off. Just kind of how it works. Because I think it was like that's it. Because it was like someone was shot with a gun and it made their hands fall off. It was like
Both their hands fall off too.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you got shot in the hand. It's like
your hands give the fuck up.
I was worried going into the play after doing the funnel. I was just like, oh no, both of my characters are so personality heavy, and the funnel has very little personality. You know, like you are not super rewarded for personality. I guess Henri did that one little moment with the cat, which was huge. And so I was happily surprised by the flexibility with alternative like approaches to conflict in Dungeon Crawl Classics. I think I was worried that it was going to be all combat, but like setting the ground on fire versus like just straight up attacking it, actually talking to the dryad, like those things I was happy with.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, like that was a little more my flavoring, I think, because I knew that was kind of what you guys would want to have a little bit. Like you wouldn't want it to be just an exclusively like walking down a map combat kind of thing.
But I mean, there's a personality score.
Right? Like
Yeah.
Like
there's got to be a reason for it.
if we're thinking about it, like I don't know what your thoughts are on the 6 different skills. I think luck was fun to play with.
Luck was cool. Y'all used it too, which was cool. It's nice to see that y'all were engaging with that mechanic a lot.
But I feel like, yeah, any ability scores are pretty much an invitation to engage in a game in a very specific way.
That's true.
And we used all of them. I'm looking at different times we used all of the ability scores.
Intelligence seems pretty OP though. It's kind of all encompassing with a lot of different like
Yeah, it kind of
knowledge,
it wraps.
perception.
That's the thing, is that like I feel like when you see that kind of skill in like D&D, for example, like it's split into wisdom and intelligence, because it acknowledges like the ability
Yeah.
to perceive as different from being like studied at something.
Yeah. I almost wonder. I feel like a lot of games do a physical stat and a mental stat, and I think that helps balance it more than when you separate strength and agility, but then have one mental stat. But I guess that's like,
Yeah.
this is a more combat than anything else game.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, you know, your universal kind of distinguishing traits that you'll find in RPGs are one that is physical, one that is mental, and one that is social.
Social.
Like those are the kind of the three axes that you see that.
And this one has 3 physical stats, and then
Yeah.
a social, and
that
a
is,
mental.
which I think does inform you. Like while there is the social and other mental aspect, like it does inform you that kind of it is based on kind of that gritty.
Do you want to talk about rolling and success with rolling?
Oh yeah, the dice.
Sure.
I was rolling bad. I don't know about y'all.
Had a lot of 4s.
A lot of misses. And not the old ball and chain.
It's kind of hard to tell what is like the level 1 kind of setbacks
Yeah.
of not having any buffs versus just having bad luck with rolling your dice too, though. Where it's like sometimes I feel like I was rolling poorly, but sometimes I was feeling like I was rolling fine, but my buffs, because we're level 1 only, kind of limits your fun. So I guess I remember Jess, you saying like, oh, after that funnel you earn, like technically we're not even level 1 after that funnel. So like leveling up is a much more drawn out process than like a traditional D&D.
It's like open to like a very mechanical group that's treating this almost board game like, right? Like they're meeting up like it's like a legacy board game.
So I guess like with that, how often are you leveling up when you play this tabletop?
You level up every time I think you hit 10 XP or something. Maybe it scales as it goes up, but like technically like you can get a maximum of 4 EXP per encounter. So like this game is kind of technically designed for you to have like 2 or 3 0 level encounters before you get to level 1. However, it does say in the book, it does say, however, level 0 combat can be grating after a long enough time. So if your players want to just skip straight to 1, like we encourage that. So it's not like we were twisting it too much.
What counts as an encounter? Because I also feel like coming from that approach of like, oh, we have to get to this much XP would encourage more of that completionist. Like we're hitting every room. We're getting everything we can from every room.
That's a good cue. I don't know if like doing more things would have gotten you more XP on that.
There is XP?
Also, because
cool.
the funnel, so many people die. So then it's like, well, I've gathered this XP for this character that's gone. Or does it, during the funnel, is it like you have the XP?
All character classes use the same advanced table. Each encounter is worth from 0 to 4 XP, and those XP are not earned merely by killing monsters, disarming traps, looting treasure, or completing a quest. Rather, successfully surviving encounters earns the character XP in DCC RPG.
Pretty cool.
So it's just survival.
And the module said that the module was 4 XP.
A typical encounter is worth 2 XP, and the system scales from 0 to 4 depending on difficulty. I don't even remember what the module said.
Okay, because like I wonder if it is like, okay, you go and talk to this cat thing, and that's 1 XP if you survive the cat and all that. Could be fun.
Well, okay, as an optional rule, consider allowing any 0 level characters that survive their first adventure to automatically advance to first level and 10 XP. 0 level characters are harrowing, deadly experience with a particularly high fatality rates. As long as each player controls a portfolio of multiple 0 level PCs, such a playstyle can be fun. However, too many games with a 0 level character exchange novelty for enforced cowardice.
Yeah. That does, yeah. The forced cowardice, that was what was coming into play, I think, when we almost left. Of just like knowing how weak you are, and it's like,
yep.
Like, we gotta figure a way out or we're just all dead. And then the episode ends.
Here's the level scaling. When you get to level 10, you need 1090 XP points. So like I imagine you're gonna start doing like,
and a counter is 4 XP.
Yeah, I don't know how they expect to kind of scale that, but That's the thing is, like, how can you do XP and shit like this? It's not a video game. Like, just do the milestone stuff. Like, just
But
after a couple
that's
sessions,
different.
you level your characters up. That's what people are there for.
I don't know a
Eh,
single person who's actually ever calculated XP. To me, I
okay.
think it's always been vibes.
Something that's not XP, but I did have a lot of fun with. So I do wonder if I had a group that was all interested in doing XP, if I would have fun with it, is Mice and Mystics. The board game Mice and Mystics, it was not, you got to level up based on how much cheese you collected during like levels, and then you could spend it, and like it was like you gathered XP and then like spent it, and I loved that shit.
Yeah, but that's different from a role playing game.
I know, but I think that this is closer to a.
That's fair. That's fair. But it just seems I don't think it is based on like killing creatures or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
because that one's based like you get cheese.
That one's based on. I mean, it's based on different stuff. You have
You
to
like roll the dice.
escape
and
areas.
You can roll a
you have
cheese
to,
and stuff.
Yeah,
I know he rolled a cheese.
I know he rolled the cheese. I risked my job so we could have some cheese.
Compared to like, but between the two styles of adventure, which did you guys generally prefer? The level 1 adventure or the level 0 funnel?
There were charms to both,
Yeah.
honestly.
I'd agree.
What about you, Nick? You're pondering.
I agree. I think there's charms to both. I think the level 0 feels more like the funnel feels more unique to this system, so that's kind of what makes it fun, where it feels like you're controlling a squad of people and they all have different like minor shitty things they can do kind of differently. I really like the 100% randomization of the characters, like rolling for every single thing, randomly rolling for occupations, weapons, stuff like that. Just kind of like random loadout, and that kind of whatever for me who is not as strong at like the improv or like the role playing specifically, I can use that as like a crutch and be like, okay, well they all have a language, so I'll make the language the same. It's like, okay, great, if they all have the same language, it's a goblin speaking language club. It's like, so
Yeah.
maybe there's some role playing there when like I wouldn't have naturally come up to that conclusion, where like I think it's kind of a funny thing that happened, but like I would have never gotten there on my own.
Yeah.
So the randomization kind of like funneling the character development was helpful for me.
I do like the randomization in that way a lot. That's kind of one of my favorite ways to play, 'cause especially when like I think you could approach a game with like I have a character I really want to play, like you just have like you came up with something as you were walking around, but I don't think this is the game for that, obviously. Like this is the game is the narrative is wrapped into the gameplay as well.
Yeah.
It feels very much like this is probably the game that I've felt captures the feeling of playing Fire Emblem the most. I know we made that comparison earlier, but like it really is, you're moving your squad of people. I also, here's a thing that's interesting. When we took that break between the read and play today, I was initially planning to run a whole different adventure.
What?
Ooh.
Yeah. But
What
then
happened?
I had read through it, and the one part I didn't read was at the beginning of it. It said, this is adventure designed for 8 to 10 level 1 characters.
That's
So it
hilarious.
was
We should have played
assuming
it.
that you were
My
all
God.
like controlling 3 or 4. So like that's kind of, you can continue doing that through the game. Is like it's kind of encouraged to have a big squad, I guess.
That is interesting.
Yeah, that's
It
good.
is interesting. It does feel very like Fellowship of the Ring to me, because they have like a
Yeah.
big ass group. I mean, even if they get like split up, but like the main characters, there's like a lot of them, you know?
And it does really, like, Kurt and Henri had a couple things that were different that I tried to hold on to. They were the same.
Right.
You know, like, when you have that many characters, it's just you playing.
Yeah. And you
Yeah.
get to move around your little guys. So like if Anish and Nick, if more of your characters had survived the first one, I totally probably like you could have played them here too. I think if I could go back, I would have probably given you all, even if it had taken more time, I would have given you all 4 characters to start with. I think that's kind of a
Now we know.
Yeah.
Because I feel like part of the learning curve too was, at the beginning at least, like how fragile you were, so you weren't taking as many chances.
Yep.
And,
Yeah.
like everything seemed immediately lethal. So like the statue was lethal. Like even the pool room, it's like, what are these crystal monsters? Like Anish kind of like interacting with them and like looking up, and it's like, oh, actually you're fine, but like you don't want to move anywhere because like everything's a trap, everything's gonna kill you. You only got 3 lives, and like
It's like a
once
horror
you're dead,
movie.
you're dead. Yeah, like there's no, you don't go down, and you can't like be revived like in D&D and stuff like that. Like you're dead, you're dead.
Why were they looking up the crystal? structures? Just flavor?
That was just detail I added.
Nice.
I just
So I was like, it's so spooky.
I thought it'd be spooky, which is why I said
It was too spooky was the problem.
We were like, we
Yeah.
can't.
latched a little too much onto that detail. Yeah, actually, the thing I ran for you guys was out of one of the zines that they mentioned in the book.
Slay.
It's part of what is called it's volume 5 of the 2016 Gong Farmers Almanac.
Hey,
A
it might
Dungeon
be
Crawl
cool.
Classics RPG zine, which is just like a recurring sort of zine that they release. And this one was Beyond the Portal of the Stars, which is kind of intent. The Portal of the Stars was the module that we ran for the first one. So it's like there's no like official expansion to it in the book, but this is someone kind of like, here's what you could do. And the reason it's much more vague, right? It's like this was not formatted in the same way the book was. This module was like more amorphous. It was all like, it was just a list of here's some things you could do. In fact, I don't know if you guys want the curtain pulled this far back, but when Anish
Yes.
had that future vision, this was 3 distinct things that it said could be the suggested physical challenge. It said you could either have them scale, like it said, that to get to the Sacred Grove, they're going to have to do one challenge. You could do something like scaling a rocky outcropping. You could do something like a boulder, a big boulder that you have to move. You could do something like clearing a tunnel of dirt. And so I was just like, all right, well, Anish is using the future site. I'll let him choose which one they do.
That's really fun.
That's cool.
That's
But
a
this
fun
is
use
like
of that.
It's just like written by like, it's interesting to see the difference in the tone. I know that y'all didn't read the modules, but it's different to see the difference. It's interesting to see the difference in tone between a module that's written by the creator of the game and just people who play it, like in a zine.
That is fun.
And it's like available for free on Drive-Thru RPG if anyone wants to look at any of these adventures, any of you or any of the listeners. So it's a good selection of stuff.
I do have one last thought. With a book as big as this and as crunchy as this, I don't think there's any feasible way we would know all the rules. But I think it is the mark of a game like this to see how players roll with the punches despite that. Like, with the minimum amount of knowledge about the rules, is the book easily navigable? Is the premise clear enough? Do they have enough of a foothold? And I think Dungeon Crawl Classics succeeds in that at the very least. I think as somebody who plays D&D, like 5e when I started, not very understandable, but I think with playing it enough, it came better to me. I'd say 5e is probably more user friendly than Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Okay, yeah. I thought you were saying that this was more, and I was like,
Absolutely
no.
Absolutely not. 5e is so user friendly
Compared to this, not
compared
so
to this.
user friendly.
Yeah, it's not, one of the most in general, but I think that it does struggle with having to scramble through a bunch of different tables all the time, which is why a reference sheet is probably essential to this game. I would recommend for both the GM and for players. I think players should have easy reference because like also this one expects, I think, a lot of player responsibility there because like I'm used to knowing D&D so well that like when I'm running a game for people, I can generally know a thing that they aren't sure about, like about their class, like something, or like at least I get the gist of the rules enough to like help people out when they don't know what one of their spells does or et cetera, et cetera. This one, as the GM, I'm not wanting to flip between all these pages like I would for D&D. Like I'm not wanting to like pull it up in my thing. I kind of expect the player to do that work, which is I think it can be good and bad. It just depends on the kind of vibe that people are bringing into the table, bringing to the table.
And I don't know that this, like, I don't mind all of the tables. I think that what I did as we played is I just jotted down what page things were on. Like a physical book, you could literally bookmark.
Yeah.
And then find all the shit that you need. So navigating a PDF is more annoying, in my opinion, because also the pages of the PDF aren't the pages of the book type situation.
You do get the benefit of being able to search for a word, though.
You do. However, PDF, the links in the PDF don't work.
I was hoping those would work. Yeah.
It says like, go to table this, and then if you click on it, nothing happens.
They work for me.
They worked for you?
Yeah, I was on Adobe Acrobat.
So you have to download an app for them to work.
A very commonly used app.
Yeah.
Yes.
But still.
My bad. Okay, final thing in response to what you said, Jess. To play devil's advocate, I think I could see a group of people playing this game enough to become familiar.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Because I think it really is just a perspective thing, and I definitely feel like I don't want to spend my free time reading all of Dungeon Crawl Classics because I'm employed now. And if I was unemployed, maybe I would read more.
I don't think that it would be harder than D&D. Me personally. Because you've been playing D&D for how long, Anish?
Well, actually playing D&D or
how long have you been familiar with Dungeons and Dragons?
Since like more than a decade, yeah.
I think this is pretty close to D&D in terms of like how difficult it is to parse. Because for me, I am you're in charge of your own stuff, or we'll look it up together. DM with D&D. Like, because when I play, I'm always martial classes. I don't like being a spellcaster. So if someone wants to play a spellcaster, I'm like, I love that for you. I love that for you. We're gonna look stuff up because I don't know shit about wizards.
I think that like when you I think this is an intimidating book. When you look at the systems, it becomes kind of clear that it's kind of the same loop of stuff. Like you roll, especially with the spellcasting. I think the spellcasting stuff was kind of intimidating with the tables at first, but they're all the same table, right? It's like 1 to 11 you fail, and then like here's what happens on these rolls, here's what happens on these rolls. It's just the reason it's so bulky is because there's so many specific circumstances to keep in mind, which is different from the game itself being complex. It's just like a lot of things to have, but not mechanics to wrap your head around, if that makes sense. So I fully agree that if you like became familiar enough with it, it would like you would still be discovering new things every time you played, I think, about this, but the gameplay loop is not too complicated. Last thoughts?
The halfling double wielding saved my ass.
That was
So
cool.
I rolled maybe 8 ones or something, but because
It's
I was
kinda
double
crazy.
wielding, they didn't count as a fumble.
They're lucky. I mean, halflings in D&D can just re-roll ones, like
Yes.
straight up. So that's
I
like
love playing
kind
a
of
martial
consistent.
halfling.
Yeah.
I guess one of my final thoughts is about the PDF and just like all the different art styles in it is kind of cool. Where they have like, I feel like I was scrolling. There's like some art that looks like it's like from The Simpsons almost. And they have like the high fantasy stuff. They have some more like sci-fi type creatures going on too.
Yeah.
So it's just like an interesting sort of collection of realism and cartoony, and there's like clip art stuff. So it's like tonally, it's sort of hard to find. I guess hard to find the tone. But it's whatever you want.
I feel like it's pulpy.
Ton of artists listed here.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Wow.
Anish?
Yeah, I'm scrolling through.
Like if you go to the credits in the first couple pages, it has art direction and graphic design was by Joseph Goodman, the author. Cover art, alternate cover art, end sheets, interior art, and they list like 20 people.
Oh my god.
If you go to page 77 of the rulebook or page 81 of the PDF, there's a piece of art that is very sad to me. It's a band of adventurers jumping out of a birthday cake at a goblin birthday party, assumedly to murder them.
But don't think about that.
Right? It's a very
Don't
don't
think
think
about
about that. But I'm
Don't
like,
think
that's our
about that.
family.
Yeah, we're kind of we're skewed toward goblins on this
Can't
podcast.
think. Turn
Yeah.
the brain off.
To people like at this party thing that were just like also obsessed with goblins, just completely unrelated. I think everybody just loves goblins in
We
the
love
world.
goblins.
I do feel like looking at how a game treats goblins is an interesting metric for just like what the vibe is going to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Well, also because like This art is particularly interesting because, like, I feel like a game like this does treat goblins as kind of like
fodder.
like fodder, right? But this art does kind of humanize them in a way that kind of
They're
makes
at a
them.
birthday party. They have wrapped presents. They have party hats. They're literally
But
hanging out.
it's cartoon violence.
Yeah, and that's like it's cartoon violence. It's leaning into the murder hobo
Yes.
vibe.
You know what I
Yeah.
think? Like, I feel like that's kind of how everyone imagines it, and then you see it at play in something like Baldur's Gate 3, and I feel like, has anyone played Baldur's Gate 3?
Yes.
Like, I feel like the deaths in that one are so, like, realistic and brutal looking in a way, or, like, the characters look realistic enough. Like, I feel like I remember there's, like, a goblin thing at the beginning, and you do just kind of, like, mow through those guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So you're
just,
saying that's pro or against goblins?
I mean, I think it's definitely against goblin. I just think it's, like, interesting to see it translated in that way when I feel like the way that people engage with it in D&D, like when there's no like image of it, is much more like I don't care, like it's silly. Like this it's become silly. It all depends on the story you're telling, which is why I think a lot of TTRPG creators have reclaimed the cuteness of goblins, I guess.
Yeah,
I love us. We found a way to bring it back to goblins.
always.
You always gotta. Nick's got the green background. It's on the mind. Oh wait, have y'all seen this, right?
Oh my god.
No, we haven't.
You haven't seen this?
I don't know if they're supposed to.
Is it a surprise?
Wait, what? I thought it
No,
wasn't.
I don't know.
Ridley
Well, we
said I
all
could
have-
send a picture.
I
of
knew
it.
that.
Okay,
I
then
knew
never
that.
mind. Yeah.
Yeah, because Ridley was like, I don't know which to make Jess. Like, I don't know what the Jess
Okay.
one should be. So that is a
Go
perfect.
ahead. You're good. You're good.
thing
Yeah,
to
yeah,
make.
yeah.
Show it
Bring
again,
back,
show it
bring
again.
it back.
That's so cute. That's adorable. For our listeners, as you may have heard from other sessions, Ridley made us all our goblins, and they were trying to figure out what Jess should get, and it is all 4 of them in a trench coat. That's spectacular.
Oh my god.
Anyway, just thought about it.
I am gonna get that tattooed.
The
goblins in the trench
art,
coat.
that's really good.
I want it.
All right.
Ugh.
Well, unless there's other thoughts before 2017 ends, anyone want to admit they like Dungeon Crawl Classics? Nick, thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you,
I hope this
Nick.
game fit your sorts of design specifications for your ideal
The
game.
game definitely did. Did the podcast help?
It was both the greatest experiences of my life. So thank you all.
Wow.
Wow.
Emma, you have something you're saying?
No.
Oh, you just looked like you were kind of.
No, I was just thinking about how funny you were in the session, Nick.
Hey, thanks.
You really cracked me up. Because it was your idea to leave, wasn't it? Like, I think Anish kind of jokingly said, and then you were like, we could actually leave. And it was like,
Sure.
we hadn't thought about it like that.
You could have left. You really could have. And I was like, and we'll just end the play here. And we'll like.
We
I
were
feel
going
like
to
we've
end the
gotten it.
play? We weren't going to
Yeah.
do
I was gonna end it there. I was like, that's the end of the adventure. And it would have been,
That's
and I
hilarious.
think that would have been actually kind of a beautiful thing to capture. Is like you truly have free will in RPGs.
Wow.
Yeah.
I respect it.
But congrats, you guys made it. And
How much XP did we get for this one?
2.
4. What?
Wow. We all have 12 XP now.
I guess it was pretty hard. I was concerned that y'all weren't hitting it with the 19 because it had the 19 armor class, and that was concerning at first. But it had like low enough hit points that I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is kind of a nice trade off. Like y'all have to like, and you came up with a fun solution, which again involved the the random table.
Spells came in clutch.
But also, knowing it was just a one shot, I felt pretty liberal using my luck to kind of like
Yes.
plus the roll. So it's like, I don't really care about
Yeah,
the permanent effects of this one.
right. And you would have recovered it over time too.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Even though, like, hypothetically on further adventures, you like would have been more
Would need
inclined to
it,
keep
yeah.
doing it, and then like it would have just. It's an interesting trade-off. A lot of equations at play.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you guys so much for listening to this episode of Replay Game. Please check out Linktree, linktr.ee/replay game for all of our links to our. I don't know why I was going to list Twitter first. We don't really use our Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, We have a Discord server that you can join and talk to other people about the episodes and about a lot of other stuff. We actually might be doing a little bit more streaming in there too. We might hop onto the calls and stuff. I have actually been playing a Tomodachi Life game, creating our characters.
That in the public
I've been
Discord?
thinking about it. It could be fun, right? I haven't run this by the other hosts, and I might cut this section out if we don't feel like doing it. But we're posting screenshots from it. Is actually some of the fun parts. So if you like the characters, you should check out that Discord server, and you can see them having stupid funny interactions. So far, we've made the Slug Blaster crew for people who like Slug Blaster, and you should go to our Patreon as well, where we post bonus episodes every month. This month, I believe we're gonna this is gonna be out later.
Yeah, way later.
So just check out
what we are posting this month hasn't been recorded yet. So the infinite possibility.
That's not true.
This month. The
this
bonus
month,
episode.
like from the. Yeah.
When you're listening to this right now, it's filled with possibility. We don't know what it is yet.
But I promise you, it's worth it.
Nick can tell you.
As the #1 oldest Patreon subscriber, I have not regretted a single cent given to this wonderful podcast.
Wow.
Thank you, Nick. That's very
That means a lot.
And with that, that's a series wrap on Nick.
And we'll see you at a totally different table.
We will see you.
When
We'll see you
does
at
this
a
come out?
randomized table.
At a randomized table. That's fun. This comes out. I don't know. Probably this episode specifically will probably be out in like June.
I cannot believe that we are releasing Dungeon Crawl Classics throughout Pride Month.
It'll be like the
all
end of
guy
Pride
party.
Month.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, because May is gonna be
Mouse
Mouse Card.
And then it's Dungeon Crawl Classics.
Fuck
Yeah, but
yes.
it's like concurrent with the top surgery thing, so that's a Pride moment.
Wow.
And it's an all-male polycule. That's like queer.
Yeah.
That's Pride.
All male polycule.
That's actually the core of Pride is celebrating gay men.
Yeah.
Goodbye, everybody. See you at a different table. See you at a critical table. Goodbye.